I think that was the key thing to start with kind of if you want to harness the power of technology and data, and we know in today's world it's changing, and innovations in technology, a number of other factors are definitely changing. We are living in a fast changing world on all levels. And to be able for an organization like Urban to be relevant and timely and provide the insights and the recommendations, let's say in today's world, in today's situation under COVID, how quickly can you really provide recommendations for policymakers who need to make decisions today on a stimulus package, or what will be the long-term implications of housing and rental, etc. And that's what the type of work that Urban is built for. So how can you really be that agile as an organization, but also keep the rigor and the quality? Because sometimes just leveraging any data you have around you doesn't mean using the wrong data. And as you mentioned, we live in a world where also wrong data is being amplified and used. So sometimes it's more harmful to use wrong data just to be fast compared to relatively available, the best data available around you, but at least with a certain level of quality and method and rigor behind it to the table. So going back to kind of the challenge with let's say a traditional research to really have the quality of the record is of course the methods take time because you want to wait for data to be collected over years, etc. Urban, for example, we used to build micro-simulation model that maybe analyze one scenario at a time or a couple of scenarios. And as policy and challenges become more complex, that means you cannot be just reactive to one proposal at a time or two proposals. You have to find a way where we could be proactive with that evidence and find ways to maybe be more outcome driven. Like what's really the outcome you hope to achieve with a certain policy, and then amplify and scale your micro simulation and analysis and use cloud and hundreds of machines and maybe analyze hundreds of hypothetical scenarios and identify the scenario that is more likely to get you to that outcome. And that becomes your recommendation to a policy maker rather than being reactive to one or two possibilities. And the third one is, of course, how you really make the evidence understood and accessible by decision makers, by different stakeholders. We all know that having a report of 200 pages and tables is very hard, even for a policymaker to understand. So how you make it accessible, how you also democratize access to this data and evidence for multiple entities and stakeholders to really make use of that information.